Hello, SNA Assassinators. This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. Again, this is the AEW Maximum Carnage edition of Dynamite, live in the worst city of the United States, which that being Cincinnati, Ohio. Oops, I just said that. Well, I sorry, not sorry, because I guess the most disgusting city in the United States. That's a different video for a different day. But besides them being in that specific city, I think AEW did a super good job on tonight's show. Maybe not like in a pay-per-view kind of caliber, like they're trying to probably trying to make it. But yeah, it was really good. Like we got a big name return. We got I'd say a solid main event, like in an average way. We got the who's going to be the new number one contender for the AEW Women's World Championship. Unfortunately, not the one I'm wishing that they were in the gauntlet match, but they weren't even in the first place. But they think they made the right decision of making this woman they wanted to be. That's where we got. That's where we got a backstage. That's where we got what they call a segment, like what's that called? A vignette between the Death Riders, including John Moxley and Powerhouse Hobbs, and this is where they showed like John Moxley, like he's gonna pay for getting involved in the beatdown that he was doing to the what they call the rated FTR. This is where they call. This is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs like enough with all this what they call enough of all this Death Rider bullshit on the iced tea like around like he's gonna put it in of whatever sick and twisted twisted goal that they have to put it in an AEW and make him I'm gonna say this once until in a while, and that's the B bomb. But that's where they showed like the other match that's going to be on the card. I totally forgot Kenny Omega was going to be facing Brian Cage. And I totally forgot there was a women's gauntlet match, but luckily they at AEW gave me that reminder. This is where we do got this match, and I'm going to tell you already right away that this match is the silver trophy of the night, if not the golden. I'll say maybe the women's gauntlet match got the golden trophy because we got some very amazing and impressive appearances, like from those that are even not in AEW, and we also got the right wrestlers to be competing for the AEW Women's Championship. Well, I'll say most of them, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But moving things on, we got Kenny Omega just started hitting punches, strikes, elbows, and some chops. And then he went to the top of the side, hit a missile dropkick right on the leg onto Brian Cage, made him do a front flip right to the bottom right side. Omega go for a flying elbow drop. This is where then we got the God of Pro Wrestling going for a fireman's carry, but Brian Cage in a double axe handle. This is where we got Brian and doing the elbow strike. This is where we got Brian Cage dips him right to the left, corner side to the right. This is where they put his head bowing down, which was a big mistake from the machine. That's where Kenny Omega kicks him right in the head to try to go for a power bomb to follow that up with maybe even a V trigger, which is a signature move on Fight Forever. But this is where Brian Cage did a back body drop in reversal. This is where Don Callis was like, yeah, get him, like that, like take him. That's why he's like, yeah, he's paying for what he did to me last week because he's one bloodthirsty, psychopathic human being, which he got lots of nerve to talk to my boy Cleaner like that. But this is where we got Machine Brian Cage. Like, I love the symphony that I'm hearing right now from the swarm of these fans, where he pushes Kenny Omega right to the bottom right side. Is where then start repeatedly doing that right to the gut. Is where then. And the way Kenny Omega wrestled like on tonight's match before I continue, like it seemed like Omega never had the sickness and disease that he had that kept him away from wrestling from the last year and a month, I guess you could say. And for those that are unaware, yeah, he has been out of action. The reason why he has been absent is because of a sickness called diverticulitis. He had a very impressive hurricane run, sending Brian Omega met with a devastating clothesline I've ever seen in pro wrestling. It's where then Don Callis shaking his head like, yeah, like he's getting what he deserves, and I don't blame Lance from coming out here like to get a front row seat of this complete annihilation from his brother Brian. This is where we got one of the fans that was in attendance from the worst city gave the finger to Brian Cage. I'm like, well, he has a point for doing that to my boy Omega. And I was like, if it wasn't for AEW, I would not be promoting Cincinnati in any capacity. I'd say at least AEW and WWE and maybe NFL. If it wasn't for those three, I'm not sure if I would be promoting that. But this is where we got Brian Cage and hit a gorilla press slam Omega right in the stomach first, right up to on the announce table, and this is where Omega was like, oh, my stomach. I was like, if he wasn't pointing that out, then I would not believe like that he would have diverticulitis. We know he don't have no more because he got it all taken out of his body in the inside. Now, and that's why he's in the square circle wrestling right now. But let's hope he stays this way, like, or else he might not be as lucky if it ever probably happens again. I'm just saying, like, in a general statement, not trying to wish this. Hopefully, I'm actually wishing that the opposite happens and he will stay healthy for the rest of his life, just like how Roman Reigns is when it comes to when he had leukemia. Like, he went away for a few months, but he got remission by the time WrestleMania 35 happened. But I can only mention about the other company, like I'm going to say of the night. But that's where Brian Cage managed to get Kenny Omega back in the ring, hit a very impressive avalanche suplex right to the upper left side. He tried to go for, or like right side, it was the upper bottom right side. Tried to go for the suplex, but it's where he gets a kick out of 2.7. Is where Brian Cage didn't grab onto Kenny, but Kenny had some elbow strikes, left, right, left. Like if the false count anywhere match back in the ring. That's where Brian Cage managed to counter and throw him back in the ring. That's where he ends up hitting him with a F10, which you would have probably expected this would probably be it if you were just a normal fan. But Omega kicked out of it. For those that are aware about Omega's, his experience, and that is him kicking out at the last second of 2.7. Oh, I forgot to tell you how exactly Brian Cage got like Kenny Omega out and back in the ring. And that was power bombing him directly right in the ring and slamming him back first. But Kenny Omega managed to bring down Brian Cage. And this way, try to go for a moonsault. We got Brian Cage got the knees up. This way, ran right into the midsection where Brian Cage go for a pump handle to a face plant. This way, try to go for a pin. Omega still kicked out 2.8. Brian Cage is like, even though that's my signature maneuver, but I get it. But this was very ridiculously insane. Like how he could kick out of this. Like he just recovered from a very unforgiving sickness. Like it is where like how is he having the strength and the guts to kick out? Is where he starts spearing him right into the midsection. It's where he hits a knife edge chop right while he was in the bottom left corner side. It's where he picks up the cleaner. This is where he tried to go for. But that's where we got Kenny Omega. Then counters, trying some strikes right to the left side of the dome. This is where then Omega trips right over. This is where Kenny Omega springboard and go for a gut wrench sunset flip power bomb with Omega hitting a mega V trigger, like if it's Fight Forever, like if it's off the top rope in an avalanche. But once you go for a pin, you will not believe what Brian Cage did. After that, while Kenny was pinning him, and he kicked out right before the referee put his hand on the mat for 3 at 2.999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 away for 3 in the 9-dems. This is where we got. Omega. Then saw Brian Cage was barely getting up sideways with Omega pointing at him, saying like, hey, I'm about to hit you with my second V trigger. Unfortunately, he totally forgot lightning does strike twice unless he got the double whammy card and he realized he don't have one. This is where Brian Cage tried to go for a German suplex. This is where Kenny Omega hit the boot right into the face onto Brian Cage. But this is where he tried to go for a snapdragon suplex, but this is where he gets slammed by Brian Cage. And this is where he tried to throw him right to the left side. He tried to go for a discus lariat, but this is where he ducks out. This is where he tried to go for a second clothesline. But he he ends up ducking, go back to the top course side, hits a V trigger, which was the third time was the charm, and same with the Grand Slam. You know, he was down on his knees right to the left corner side, or was no the bottom corner side. But that's where he picks him up and tries to go for a one-winged angel, which he picks him up right on the shoulders, which he had Antonio Schiavone, I should say, had a high-pitched voice screaming on the top of his voice, he got him right up in the air, and he picks him up, and a man that weighs over 300 pounds, and hits him with a one-winged angel, one of the most amazing ones since Wrestle Dynasty when he wrestled Gabe Kidd. He eventually got the 1, 2, 3. Winner of this match, Kenny Omega. That's where Kyle Fletcher and Lance Archer came in the ring and tried to beat up the lifeless Omega, like after his match, post-match. That's where we got Will Ospreay, the longtime rival of Kenny Omega, come in and help out the cleaner. And that's where he sent Omega through his partner, what's his name, Kyle Fletcher out of the ring. And like we got Lance Archer then waiting for Will Ospreay to go for a choke slam, but this is where Will Ospreay flipped right out of it. This is where we got the aerial assassin. It's a Pele kick, and I'm starting to sound like him, like with this hoarse voice, like, yeah, like, and this is where Kenny Omega hits the V trigger while Ospreay hits the hidden blade, bruv. And this is where then both Ospreay and Omega was standing face to face, longtime rivals since their New Japan days, going face to face with each other. Look like they're arguing a bit, but it's where we got was it Kyle Fletcher trying to get back to the ring, but it's where he's like, wait just a second, like I get my so-called best friend, now enemy, is about to attack you. This is where he hits him with a right hand. Is where then he goes for a crossbody onto his former friend, now turned rival. This is where we got Kenny Omega was in the ring alone. This is where it was the Alpha that was about to come out into the ring after he saw Omega Ospreay was out of the ring. This is where then we got. That's where then he managed to get back in, get in there. That's where Konosuke Takeshita is just laying out both Ospreay and Omega, like no matter what. This is where we got Ospreay to try to fight back from, Kyle Fletcher coming and attack Kenny Omega. I'm afraid it was 2-on-1 to his face. But that's where it was, even with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay was there to try to find even the odds. He just couldn't outdo both Kyle and Ospreay. And Takeshita. This is where we got. That's where we both got Takeshita and Fletcher, where Takeshita hold on to Omega, while Kyle Fletcher got Ospreay. That's where they did a double brainbuster right onto each other, right into their former rivals to one another, right into the canvas. That's where Don Callis is like, I like the look of this. Like two major men, like. This is where the Doc are shaking each of his family members' hands. They're like, y'all amazed me, like what y'all did to both my former clients that just betrayed me. And this is where fans start chanting, "Fuck Don Callis." And then let me tell you that, this is gonna be the only time I'm gonna tell you that relates to the cuss word, because the fans said it was uncensored, like how. That's where Don Callis starts stomping on Omega, trying to get some revenge for being pounding him right in the head. Which I hope Omega does that again with his bald, this bald sadistic ass. But anyways, this is where we got. But this is where we got Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega look at each other like they're like we may not like each other, but it looks like we have to work together. And I cannot wait when that time comes. Like it would have me starting to do the dance of joy. But this is where then we got the Hurt on the private party and the letting them know that they hurt people, along with Shelton Benjamin just saying the words specifics. This is where they advertise tomorrow will be the live event, like in the worst city of the United States, like where they're going to have collision. They're going to be double spoiled back to back. Like they're going to be TV taping of Collision, which is going to be aired on this Saturday, which is going to feature the likes of Rated FTR and Powerhouse Hobbs and the Outrunners take on the Death Riders and the Learning Tree, which I would agree with some people that are like, why they're having the Death Riders, whoever do not team with other heels, even though that they have the same similar roles into the heel and face kind of dynamic, but they should be teaming with only just each other, no other allies. Which kind of makes sense in story, even though they are both heels. But we're gonna move on to that. That's what we got Chris Jericho. Yeah, we got another. And this is a new episode of the New York Minute, looking like if he's a news weatherman reporter. This way he's like, enjoy yourself even more because this Saturday on Collision, it's going to be you're going to get one of the big, most anticipated matches like in Collision history. Despite what the criticism, I agree on that one because I think it's going to be the match of the night. That's where they start naming like that. It's going to be a 12-man match, and this where. And that's where then Brian Keith confirmed Jericho's statement by how many wrestlers that's going to be in the match. He's like, that's a dozen mother fudge unsweetened chocolate kiwi killers. And when they didn't censor that out, I probably would have said the cuss word, but that's where Chris Jericho did stand up Brian Keith because it's like, okay, like I thought there was no swearing, but like I'm gonna let it slide. But this is where the Big Bill must have took a page out of his own playbook when he was that Cass guy or Cassidy or Colin Cassidy, I guess you could call him, but even though he mentioned that, this is where he said size matter, like he said over the other company, making probably a reference. This is where Chris Jericho's like, yeah, size really do matter with Jericho. This is where he's like in, and this is where he's like in FTR, we already showed that Cope is dope, and like and Hardwood is no good. And this is where he's like, what about Cash Willard? This is what Brian Keith said. This is where they're going like, oh, I never thought that. He's like, well, I'm gonna say Wheeler is a kneeler, like, and a kneeler of a king. This where then Brian Keith and what's his name, Big Bill, the learning tree teacher was talking about. This was like a kneeler, like, and this where it's like Jericho explained what he's got, and that's when they understand what he's like. Like a man that kneels right in front of the king and has no choice but to worship and do his every his command or. Something like that, yeah. But yeah. This was like, yeah. And then like Marks, like I know you for a very long time. Like I can guarantee you, like that we're gonna be on the same page for at least for this night. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you that they can just because of the Don Callis family, I guess you could say. So they're gonna put all the differences aside at least for one night, and they're gonna do that by just doing what they need to do and just taking out the every single member of the family before they do that to them. And the best way to do it is by going on the same page and joining forces together. But this next up, we got Ricochet coming in the ring. The fans start booing them out of the building. I'm like, yeah, they're distasteful anyway, so I'm not going to take them seriously. But yeah, this is where the Ricochet, this is where fans start chanting, like, whose house, where's house, and then chanting, you suck, the Ricochet. This is where the Ricochet then was like, yeah, go ahead and chant that. But before, like, you, before it's like how many minutes, like but before it's 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, like I want to tell you something real fast. So keep it down. This is where Ricochet finally got on the microphone, even though it took him probably about maybe 5,356 seconds for him to get him. And this where the Ricochet then it was like, okay, like, I'm gonna leave if y'all stop disrespecting me. This is where fans start chanting Swerve's house. Yeah, this is where it's like, okay, like, yeah, keep on doing it. This is where he was, and this was like, fine, like you can keep booing me, because like they say, like a masterpiece picture is worth a thousand words. And this word before, and this word then we got then pointing at the Titantron, which is showing them like staring at the face of Swerve Strickland in a bloody mess of his face. This where luckily Swerve's music started playing with the Titantron. Like, who's house with the fans start chanting Swerve's house, start cheering. But before it even came out, this is where we got his manager came right behind him and gave a take of good old Ricky the Dickie's medicine, I guess you could say. That is where he whacked him right in the back with a steel chair in a Seth Rollins inspired manner. That's where he started swerving, because that's what he normally do when the music started playing. That's where Swerve came up and then just chased after Ricochet. He's like, yeah, I'm about to kill you, you mother sucker. And this where then he just started chasing after him. This where and when Ricochet threw the security guard, this where Swerve's like, you can run, but you can't hide. This where Prince Nile was in the ring still dancing, which I wish I was in there with him dancing, but not for Cincinnati, but for the roast him. This where he's like, well, whose house? Swerve's house. Who's house? This where Swerve's like, yeah, he may have escaped this time, but he won't be doing that. Like when the next time I encounter him, this is where I was thinking, like, when they're going to have this match. Maybe it could be a Grand Slam, but do you think it might be at next month's pay-per-view on February 15th? Let me know in the comment section right down below. That's where we move on to the next slide. Is where we show the vignette of the CEO that's now a technically 4 champions, if not a triple champion. And this one shows she was recently interviewed by Sherry Shepherd, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, at the latest episode of the Sherry Show, I believe that's what it's called. And that's where Sherry complimented the one half of the Undisputed Rev Pro Women's Championships. That looks very gorgeous, which I'll say you cannot really disagree with the TV show host. But that's where that's what it's like from there, and then that's where she's like she went shopping after she became a 4 champion, and like she went shopping, got the best and most prestigious jewelry that she could find, put around her neck, like that's what it's like, and then she's gonna start training, and then just where the. And this where that she was like, whoever want to jump on the money train, let's go. I plenty of more belts to carry here around my arms and waist. This where then she's like, at the end of the segment, she's like, money changes everything. And this is where what's his name said the most genius words that he had ever said in his commentary years, and that is Excalibur saying like, you cannot really disagree with the CEO said with that statement right there in this little vignette. But it's where it got even better, like with Swerve and CEO Mercedes Moné, and now it's the Hurt Syndicate that came out, because they were about to have their probably their best match yet, which I'm like, you know what, I'll say it's not just gonna get a golden trophy, it's gonna get the platinum trophy. And I apologize for not mentioning that, but yeah. But one of the matches going to be getting a platinum trophy. But now I'm going to say it right now. It's definitely going to be getting even though it's probably not the greatest one, but it's probably the best one that I watched on tonight's show. Like next to the Gauntlet match and the Omega versus Brian Cage match, that's why I'm going to give it the platinum trophy of the night, of the best. But this is where we got. The match started with, I'll say, was it MVP and Mark Briscoe, if I'm not mistaken. Like this is where they started. Well, at first it was the private party going for Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, while Mark Briscoe was going fist and elbows with MVP, or should I say Montel Vontavious Porter, if I'm trying to formally speaking, like if I want to show some little respect. But this is where that same Cincinnati man gave Shelton Benjamin the finger when he sent what was it, Brother Zay right into the corner. Yeah, Brother Zay. And this is where then we got MVP then sent Mark Briscoe right into his corner in the bottom right side is where we got Mark Briscoe starting some some chops right onto Montel Vontavious Porter, which is a long name to say, but this is where we got Mark Briscoe then trying to Irish whip MVP right to the left side in his corner diagonally. This is where he gets countered. This is where he had a plenty flip right over into the top corner. Not the top corner. What I'm talking about, I think it was the upper right side because they wanted to have the camera angle, put it in an opposite manner, like and have the tag team match at a totally different spot where they would normally would have the sides in like run tag team matches, but that's where Mark Briscoe was starting to hit some chops and punches, where he dipped him right to the left and the right, but it's where we got Mark Briscoe that went right to the try to go for a run, but he ends up getting booted right to the face by the former United States champion. This is where then he picks up the former Ring of Honor champion, and this is where fans start chanting MVP, MVP, which I was kind of confused because weren't they booing them, like even though they're heels, but it seemed like that they did not know what the cheer booed him in this sports city and very disgusting, horrible town that you could visit. But this is where we got Shelton Benjamin then gets tagged in by MVP, where he throws Brisk right into the top corner side barricade, then into the apron, then into the top corner side, throws him stunning first right into the apron. That's where they get body slammed right into the concrete, but that's a place that you definitely do not want to get hit at. But that's where we got. But that's where then he tags back in the MVP, but that's where he only got denied for a 2.1. Try to go for it again, but this time it was like 1.9. This is where then MVP to start going for headlocks, is where he did about to hit a signature maneuver once he got done with that. This is where he started trying to do the Bala. And speaking earlier about Sherry Shepherd, I heard that she used to date this guy that's now on AEW, which was like probably like back in 2009 when he was over at the other company. But yeah, that's a different story for a different day. But this is where we got MVP that went right to the left side. This is where he started doing the ball and this is where he elbow drops like right into to the Mark Briscoe. This is where then he tried to. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but he only get denied a 2.5, which that still is a signature move. Ever since probably he was recognized as a wrestler, probably back in 2006, 2007. But it's where we got MVP throws Mark Briscoe right to the left side. This is where he tried to go for a clothesline. Goes right. This is where Briscoe on the right side. He ends up getting This is where he goes for a back, but this is where he gets flying axe handle by Mark Briscoe, like if he's that certain heartbreaker of a kid, even though he's in his 50s, about to be in the 60s very soon. Hope I don't sound disrespectful by saying that, or offensive even, but this is where we got this is where Mark Briscoe managed to tag in Brother Zay, and this is where MVP tags in his business partner, the chief of the what's that called of the hurt complaint department, like the standard of excellence of Shelton Benjamin. This is where we got Brother Zay that brought him. Took him to school, the new school, I guess you could say. This is where he tags in his brother Mark. This is where the drop kick on the MVP when he got tagged by MVP. This is where Bobby Lashley did. I believe got tagged in. This is where he gets double drop kicked by the current AEW tag team champions. This is where they're standing right to the left side corner with the middle rope, or no, the top corner, I believe. He lifted that up. Mark Briscoe to hit a suicide dive, but this is where MVP and Shelton Benjamin caught the private party from behind with a back suplex, but ended up countering into an insecurity, like with a flip right out and then a springboard moonsault from Brother Zay. This is where we got Brother Mark to throw Brother Zay right into MVP, went right into the outside is where Mark Quinn gets kicked right into the gut by Shelton Benjamin. I'm like, it's very rare to hit him that he hits a power bomb, but this is where the Brother Mark then flipped right out of it. This is where once he got out of it, this is where he took a page out of Benjamin's playbook. Did, I guess, kind of insult to injury with a face plant, but it's where it only got him a 2.3 count. This is where we got what's his name that saw Mark Quinn and saw his brother Isaiah Cassidy got back in the ring is where he hits he put himself as a human's footstool, step he would stand on. That's where he hits a leg drop like to hit the the chief officer of the hurt department is where he did. This is where they try to fly onto him and he ends up getting German suplex by the standard of excellence. This is where the Almighty hits a spear right into the bottom quarter side. I guess trying to. And this is where Antonio Schiavone compared him to what's his name? He compared him to a He-Man of AEW, I guess you could say. This is where MVP hits a boot right to the face of Mark Briscoe to get rid of him. This is where Shelton Benjamin hit a super kick, like a standard super kick right up to brother Quinn. This is where it goes for a pin. This is where they get the 1, 2, 3. Winner of this match, the Hurt Syndicate. And I want to give a huge congratulations to them, which they get I'll say the platinum trophy of the night, which even though I'm not sure if they should be booking Benjamin and Lashley as tag team contenders, at least not yet, I would say, yeah. Because they just don't look like tag team boys. I think they're more of they're more in singles divisions like MVP is as well. I think they're just trios that they should be going after some singles gold at least first, and then maybe win the trios and tag team championships probably after that. But let me know in the comment section right down below what you think about my opinion. And do you agree with it, or do you think that it don't even matter? They're gonna be filled with excellence anyways. Which that's true. I would agree on that. But on my opinion, like if they're trying to do a perfect impression with these guys, I think they should get them into in the title scenes as soon as they get done with non-title fights. But this is where the show next week that Pac will indeed face Cope at next week's Dynamite. This is where they showed like on like a press conference after World's End, like FTR said that Cope is they're like a brother to them, which that's very sweet of them, sweet for them to say, I guess you could say, but. But they also said, and this is what Adam Copeland admit that they're like some of the reasons why that he made a smooth recovery next to another guy, even though he didn't mention him by name. But yeah, let's say they're at the other company out there trying to achieve their dreams of becoming an Ultimate Grand Slam champion, just like Cope. But yeah, this is where they say they're gonna bring the fight to both the Lightning Tree and the Death Riders, which I think that's what they're definitely gonna do. Which that's gonna be this coming Saturday. And let me know in the comments who's gonna win this 12-man tag. Even though maybe it's a little too much, but as long as it's gonna be with wrestlers that's gonna be bringing in the E in entertainment, even though that's not what the E in AEW stands for. But still, it's going to be very intriguing to watch this weekend. Hopefully that's going to be the case. But let's move on to the next slide. This is where Jeff Jarrett came out. This is where he's stating for the last few weeks, they've been there's been some high praise with me lately, and I want to say that. And this where before he can even say anything, is where guess who comes out and brings their cocky, arrogant, but factual individual self out there. Yep, you guessed it. It was the man that's better than you, and you know it. And that's from probably in a much more better city, Long Island, even though it's not the #1 best city of the United States. Let me point that out to the salt of the earth. And that was MJF that just came out. As soon as he came out, is where when his music started playing, is where when he came out, is where this music stopped playing because he told him to cut it because he put his thing. This is where they start going on a roasting war, from referencing that Jeff Jarrett has to take a fellow wrestler's wife, his ex-wife, or his leftovers, whatever you want to call it, and like which is that certain Olympic gold medalist that just cannot stand that phrase "what" that the fans say, and from when Jeff Jarrett mentioning about Maxwell's mother being, well, I guess you could say this is the only time I'm saying a prostitute. I guess you could say, and that's where the MJF is like when is Jeff Jarrett gonna learn? And when is Jeff Jarrett going to learn the whole definition of what he said? Uh, or what is it, like humbling? You said like you Jeff, to learn the definition of that word humbling. Like last week, like I gave you that opportunity of a lifetime. Like you had all the audacity, like the turn me down. That's what Jeff Jarrett's like. Oh, don't get me started with that, Maxwell. You were way too lazy to enter the casino gauntlet match, but you came up with some scheme, and that's where it did interrupt. The MJF did, like must be a fan of what's it called of some of the manners because he did not like getting interrupted. But I said, "Don't you ever interrupt me, old man." That's why I started dying with me. Like, anyway, like he was like, if I retired to Meyer, like they would probably put me in the Hall of Fame in any wrestling promotion. I am a living legend. Like you come around, you think you. And that's why he's like, you think you're the same because you have these smucks believing you. I was like, well, I would agree with him on one thing because he called him schmucks, and that's what I would have called him if he didn't. But that's where then he did continue to say, like, you like Jared, you're the last thing that you see before your favorite wrestling company dies. And this is where I was wondering, like, is he talking about that Nashville-based company, or do you talking about this company? He's like, and you know what else, Double J? Like, you know what the puppy, like, would you tripping? And this is what it's like when you winning the Triple B would be a whole lot warmer and fuzzier, wouldn't it be? But guess what? You didn't win, did you? Like you know, you're gonna be meeting with the Grim Reaper sooner or later. So, guys, what we're doing here, when the fans are booing out the star of the earth, that's why I tell them to shut up. I was like, yeah, you better shut up, losers. This is where MJ was like, yeah, I was making me want to have a drink, and it's like, oh, and that's where I was like, I don't think he was just talking about the bad drinking habits of Double J. I think he was talking about all the beverages and the water in general in this horrible city have been made by toxic waste, which MJF was taking it back, and he must be watching the SNA podcast for him to say to stop himself saying he wants to drink in this horrible city, which I would blame him on that. It's when MJF to start bringing him up about his drinking habits. It was like, I got a great idea. How about, like, for the health of this company and for you, Jeffrey, like, I send your ass packing back to rehab where you belong, just like that other Jeffrey guy that's no longer here. This way, he's like, but like, Jeff, do me a favor. You have that, you make sure that sexy mouth of the wife of yours sticks around here. Like, I happen to be a big fan of Karen. But you know what, dude? Like, I'm not a monster. Like, I am the salt of the earth. When I'm doing her, I'll ship her over to Tennessee for you. And then that way, you can be the first man in history to know what a generational talent and an Olympic gold medalist balls taste like. And that's why I was like, oh, brother, like he did not just went there. Like, just took him, and he just referenced that guy that just cannot stand the word what. But it's where, and yeah, I know I mentioned this guy before in AEW, but it seemed like if it was a little inappropriate to mention him by name, according to Anthony Khan, they would probably think of. But that's where Jeff just starts shaking his head, like yeah, like. Maxwell, like everything that you just said, like was proved, like it's stupid, like but it's all been said before, like 1,000 times. Like yeah, like you're not the only man that said all these things and did all these things. Like, but let's get down to business. You know, I know, like the best year of my career are way behind me. Like it is where it is. Like. and you don't have to give me like 12,000 reminders. But last summer, when I entered that Owen Hart Cup, like that, I realized like that like the AEW fan base, like they awakened plenty of passion in me, which I would totally agree. Like age should not penalize or sure what they call should determine like if you should be stopping your dreams of what you love doing the most. This is where they do like they awaken that desire that I did not know I still have, which I kind of have desires that I don't know I even have. Like what else is new with the SNA assassin? But it's where the Judge like, yeah, you got to feel going, like just keep going. The one thing that's gonna put me on track is to become the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Like and that is these beloved like loyal fans, and it's where they start cheering, which I was like, yeah, I agree with what Jeffrey is saying. And this was, some of y'all probably gonna be wondering like, why I call him Jeffrey, because that's what Maxwell called him. And I was like, maybe he watched the SNA podcast because he knows. Like, if for those that are aware, you know that I talk, but when I talk about people that have short first names, I always call them by their full first name, but. But this is where the Jeff Jarrett continue anyways. Like, yeah, you think you're hurting my feelings? It's where I'm saying, like, yeah, like, isn't it obvious? It's where Jeff Jarrett's like, oh, like, don't get me started. Like, I was you before you were even you. Like, you like everything that you said or everything that you do, I already done that before for you. And I did it, I done it, and I did it before you. And to be honest, I did it way better than you. And this is where the MJ's like, oh, like you think you do something better than me? Nobody do better than this. Where before he can even say this, where Jeffrey to say like, yeah, you like yeah, like I don't know what who you are. Like you're kind of confusing me. I'm like before you get like all get wound up and out of shape, like yeah, like you really give me such a confusion because like I don't know, like if you're either a dumbass or either just a scumbag, which that's his nickname. You like, but knowing that where you come from, maybe it's all the above what I just mentioned, and maybe the ones that I don't mention. Maybe there's hear me out. Like maybe there's days that I feel sorry for you, like Maxwell. This is where fans are chanting, he's our scumbag, like for Max Caster, which I understand why he would be so much enthusiastic about that. But anyways, where he's like, yeah, like, and then like. Here's what like, but yeah, I feel sorry for like Max. It's been tough. Like it's been very tough. But with you being raised by a cowgirl, run like here's what like. He's like, yeah, it's a sad thing that you've been raised by a cowgirl mother. And I was like, oh, like I did not know that she was a writer, which that's the best way to put it. Because even though I said some swear words before, but I'm not gonna go anywhere when it comes to inappropriateness because I'm not trying to make this rated R. But anyways, this is where the Jeff Jarrett's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know for a fact, like that your dad, like that hops your mom up, like she still, like is still paying for that sugar. Yeah, like he's like, yeah, but we went on to, he's like, this is where he basically said, like, and I know for a fact that your father, like, when he knocked your mom up, like, this sounds like the terms that my grandmother would say. This like not like when it comes to impregnations, like you're calling it knockups, like yeah, like oh no, this is why I was like, what's up with these old school 60 and 70-year-olds saying using those terms? This is what Jeff Jarrett's like. She still like is still paying for that sugar honey ice. Well, what am I saying? I'm gonna say this this one time. This is where it's like she's still paying for that shit, isn't she? This is where MJF's like, I'm not answering that. This is what MJF. This is where he's like, well, like you. He's like, yeah, she's paying for that shit, didn't she? This was like, but hold on, Max, I'm not done yet. Like, because the old saying goes, like we all married our mommies. Like, yeah, like, well, it's very appropriate, definitely for you. Like, your old lady is like nothing but a Canadian cowgirl. And then this word, he continues like that. Max, one final thing, like, this very ring, like, yeah, like. like the night when you were tearing the house down, you were burning it up like with Osprey, like you were doing your version of what 60 minutes through. Like while at the same time in that parking lot, your old lady was doing her version of 60 minutes of through of about 10 other wrestlers, just letting them have it. Which I was like, oh, like I don't think anybody could roast him about like I couldn't see nobody, like not even I was like name somebody that's a good mic talker. I'd say I'm trying to think of the best microphone talker, which I'm not sure who to name in comparison with Jeff. But I don't think they can outdo MJF like how Jeffrey did, like with him using his mother into it. This way, that's where it is that you're drowning on your own sugar honey iced tea. Well, shit, I should say. This where it's like. And this is what it's like you may be you be a prick, like, but the very poor, like you're a scared little boy, like inside, like you are scared to enter that gauntlet, like you're scared of 28 years of age, like we're about to be 29, and the best years are behind you, like you're getting scared again, like you'll never be on top yet again, like and like I said again last week, like you are scared of becoming a one-hit wonder. And this is where MJF just ballistically exploded right after Jeff Jarrett did say this is where when fans start chanting one-hit wonder, I believe this is where it got into him because that is somewhat true. Like this is where MJF started denying that. No, like you like one-hit wonder scared. Like I am nothing like you, Jeffrey. Like I made. Like, you think I need my daddy to make the top guy? Do I need to start my own company to make me a top guy? Which is a reference to that Nashville promotion. That's where it's like, MJF is the one that made MJF. Like, we saw in the past, like, what happened when you're King of Mountain. Let's talk about what happens when I am. Like, Maxwell Chicken Freeman is the only man to thank, like, for the biggest professional wrestling show of all time, like 82,000 strong, like Wembley Stadium. Like, I'm the one to thank, like, for record rating, record ticket sales. And, like, I was the best in the world at that point, Jeffrey. And then that's where he did continue, like, he was like, I told you, old man. Like, then I got screwed. I got screwed with my Triple B championship. Like my name, my legacy, it got dragged right to this day. Like, the same people who put me on the pedestal, like, now have ripped me, like, with a smile on their face, like, and they treat me like nothing. Like, I ain't nothing. Like, let me tell you something. Like, I don't run to win the world championship. I need to win them. Like, I don't like so I can run. I can shove each and every one of those fake friends down their throats. And like, but instead, I had to wait in line, like, for Jeffrey Jarrett in question. Like, don't make me laugh. Like, hold on, Jeffrey. Like, Jeff, like, with all due respect to you, like, these people, well, they're not very bright. And I have to agree with Maxwell on that one because the Cincinnati fans are quite not smart in the brain. But it's where Maxwell saying, like, no wrestling fan have never given Simmons solitary shit about him. And that hopefully I do not get what they call what's that called, restricted by saying that word, but I'm saying it because it was unscripted, uncensored. Again, I promise, like, if a wrestling show does have swear words that does not have any censorship, like, in it in 2025, I'm gonna be saying it like they say. But it's where he's like, man, he's like, now you think you owe the grand finale just because you're writing the coattail of your deceased friend, Owen Hart, which I wonder what city that he sadly passed away in, and it happened to be at the best one. But it's where we got MJF. Like, you're nothing more than a wish, like just living off, like, just off your dead friend. And this way, like, oh, like, Jeff, did I strike a chord, Jeff? Like, I thought, like, you were all tough. Like, I thought you were, but you don't like it when I talk about your old pal, Owen. Like, do you? And that's where, right after he said that, is where he gets hit with a right hand, right to the face by Jeffrey. This is where he started hitting some strikes right to the side of his head. This is where security guards had to break him up. Like, this is where Karen and Jared had to go out there to be the only person that had to hold him back. Like, to stop him from doing more damage. This is where, well, once he stopped, this is where Maxwell, the sneaky scumbag that he is, went and attacked Karen Jarrett and started holding on to her as hostage. This is where Jeff Jarrett was about to attack, but this is where the MJF said, dang it, I don't have my Dynamite diamond ring. It's like, you're lucky. You're lucky this time. This is where he pushes Karen right to him. It's where he ran out of the ring like the cowardly prick that he is, I guess you could call him. But it's where they show the vignette with Kazuchika Okada, the bitch man, which he's known as. This is where the Tomohiro Ishii is where he pointed at his Continental Championship with Okada there, like, hey, like Tomohiro, like how. This where he's like, how are you? This is where he pointed at the Continental Championship. Well, when he walked away, this is where Okada called him, well, the word I'm going to say once right here, beach. But anyways, this is where Okada had the AEW World Championship. Continental Championship, and this is where they show the little, what's that what they call graphic, along with Hangman Adam Page being in this Texas death match against the Fallen Angel, what's his name? Christopher Daniels, which is no longer that incompetent ball biscuit head authority figure. But this is where we got Christian Cage came out. This is where we saw the unthinkable happen. This is where it was Hook came in and attacked Christian Cage from behind because this is where he was trying to just try to get an early start because he would have done the same if he attacked him as well. But he just doing that because before anything happens, before he even invites his stepsons, he wants to just get this over with. This is where Nick Wayne's mother, Shayna Wayne, would face Hook. He was like, you're lucky that I'm here for your kayfabe husband. Otherwise, I would explode a suplex your chubby ass right into this ramp right here. But this way he went straight to Christian Cage, fighting on the ringside area until Christian Cage threw what's his name? Hook right in front of the timekeeper's area's barricade. So he had some chops, but it's where Hook then started fighting back with some chops of his own, which I think he earned himself probably the first and second place of the night. I guess Hook will probably be number one on Gunther's MV list. But that's where we got Hook then start going for a choke, going for a sleeper as well. This is where we got Hook then going for what's that? Dip right to the left side, to the right side. This is where the Christian Cage was dipping right there. This is where everybody went right underneath the ropes. This is where he left right outside the ring. This is where Hook to try to stop him before he then try to make a full-on escape. This is where he grabbed onto him. This is where he throws him right back in the ring. This is where he ends up Christian Cage whip trying to right into the left corner rope. This is where Christian Cage trying to go over and attack him. This is where he gets flipped right back in the ring. This is where we got Hook to try to do any maneuver. But Chris is like, no, come in peace. This is where he comes in the kneel. This is where he's like, how about it's like, don't listen to these horrible fans. This is where I was like, maybe Christian's right on that, but I still don't trust the guy because he probably will say the same thing to young guys like Hook, Daniel Garcia, even the scapegoat that loved crying people rivers as well, and Nick Wayne. And then when he became his stepfather. But anyways, this is where we got Christian Cage like, come on, forget about Taz. He's about to die anyway. But it's where Taz would not like him dogging him. It's where he was like, I'm trying to be professional as much as I can, but I just don't like him. I just don't want him to beat my son. And this is where we got Christian Cage trying to hug Hook. This is where Hook grabs on him, hits a belly-to-belly suplex, a devastating one, boom! And this where then he was like, you think I'm really gonna fall for that? This is where he went right on top, onto the top rope. This is where he started hitting some right hands right into the face, onto the patriarch. This is where then everybody counted all the way to 10. This is where Hook just started tarnishing him around the ring. Even when there's the partial powerful force that came on, which is the picture-in-picture commercial break. What they go for in the advert is where Christian Cage did counter out of what they call inside cradle, but it's where we got hooked and got back up. But it's where Christian Cage started stomping onto him until hooked and sent him right to the outside. He tried to hit him with a foot stomp right up to the hand, trying to break that hand, which you could blame him at this point. But it's where then Christian Cage then move out of the way, slipping him over back first right into that exact same stem of the steel steps, unfortunately. It's where Christian Cage ball back in the ring, hits his signature frog splash right in the ring. Christian Cage tried to go for a pin, but this is where he gets kicked out by the cold-hearted, handsome Tasmanian Devil. This is where then we got Christian Cage trying to go up yet again right to the upper right corner side. This is where then he hits another frog splash. This is where he was double lucky with the double whammy. This is where he tried to get triple lucky with the three-leaf clover triple whammy of luck is the charm. This is where, or maybe it was a captain splash, I guess you could say. This is where he tried to go for a pin. This is where Hook kicks out of it at 2.2, if I'm mistaken. This is where Christian Cage tried to go for a kill switch, but that's where Hook counted out of it. But eventually, once we got Hook try to go for a running attack move, but he ends up getting hit with an intercepting spear. But this is where Hook kicked out shockingly at 1 even. I would expect him probably at least the shortest will be 2.1, but not 1 even. Like, I don't know how he did. But this is where we got Christian Cage eventually invited his stepsons and kayfabe, that is, Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, or Nicholas Wayne, whatever you want to call him. That's where we got Hook then going for a clothesline right to Christian Cage when the Irish whip right to the right side. This is where he goes for another clothesline. This is where then Hook then try to put the arm drag him right to the bottom left corner side. Is where he try to have him right set into the corner. This is where Hook then go for a throw body clothesline, try to go for a hip suplex, which he successfully did so. But this is where we got Christian Cage get the right shoulder up, managing to kick out in the process. This is where then Hook to try to pick himself right up. This is where Christian Cage try to kick him, try to go for a reverse DDT. But this is where we got Hook then picks him up, counters him into a fisherman suplex. This is where we try to go for a pin, but this is where we got the referee count to 1, the count to 2. But Christian ends up kicking out at 2.6, was it? This is where Christian Cage got up while he was like, I get up. This is where then Christian Cage is like, and this is where he started poking fun at Hook, saying like Taz is going to die, which I don't think he is, even if he is going to have a couple of very bad health issues. But that's one thing. Like, that doesn't mean he's going to be a goner. Like, he proved that when he got some knee surgery, lately. Replacement knee surgery, I believe. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, this is where we got. Speaking of the human suplex machine, this is where he started rooting for his son, which who could blame him? This is where he was like, "Yeah, you go get him, son." This is where he tried to go for the what they call the red one, but this is where he gets raked in the eyes by Christian. This is where Christian Cage Irish whipped him shoulder first right into the ring post. This is where luckily Katsuyori Shibata came in and stopped Christian's stepsons from outnumbering Hook and attacking him when the referee was looking. But this is where, unfortunately for Shibata, he gets hit with a reverse DDT by the Patriarch himself. But luckily, Hook then started fighting off both Kip and Nicholas. This is where we got Christian Cage and trying to go for the kill switch. But you know the rules of professional wrestling. Like, if it don't work the first time, it might be a guarantee the second time. But the thing is, did he? But I think I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. But this is where we got Hooked and nearly won with the red one. Oh yeah, he didn't got a to guarantee because this is where we got the stepsons that came in to save the day and stops. I'm like, what was the hopeful I've been pointing about this match? Like, and why did it end in this way, like in this match, even though they're probably going to continue this? But I don't understand why, well, until what was about to happen. But this one's going to get the blue ribbon of the night since it was just like, It was a really interesting match, like in general. So I'm not gonna be giving it a worse, what they call it, a worse rating, like into the finish. But it's where we got Taz was like stop, enough is enough to like when they're about to break the arm of Hook, like when what's his name, when Taz was about to come in and try to stop him. But this is where we saw the return. And yes, sir. Remember what I said about return happened tonight on this edition of AEW Dynamite? Well, it did tonight because the Samoan submission machine was there. That's where he came out. That's where he tossed Christian out of the ring when he tried to go for an attack, along with Nicholas Wayne. This is where Samoa Joe started hitting some punches right under Kip Sabian. This is where the Nick Wayne tried to come in. This is where he did the nope spot, no selling the attack. This is where he moved right out of the way, walking out like if he was about to do a crossbody. This is where he then tossed him right into the top corner's ringside area. This is where then he hit the power slam like if he's a certain Viper right onto Kip Sabian. This is where Tatsuya Shibata hit the leg swiping kick right into the case of right into the face of Shibata. I mean, right into Sabian when Samoa Joe, what's it called? Snap married him right into the ring. Yeah. But yeah, that's what basically happened. Is where we got. But moving on, we got. The women's gauntlet match, like for Mariah May's women's championship. Let's say the right woman won, even though not the one in particular I thought it was. But this is where we got Renee Paquette, and it's where Renee Paquette, like where you go from there, like with this MJF problem. But it's where luckily Dustin Rhodes came in, like with both one third and one half of this ROH trios and tag team championship. This word and Dustin was like, how many times that we've been driven down this road, like because we got a love of a road from this business. Like he don't know a single damn thing about you and me. You know that he's just a young chump. He's like how long he's been in like you think you're gonna let him get a dick? You're gonna allow him gonna dictate over you. You're gonna allow the little shit gonna control what your career is gonna be determined to be. This was like. And it's like I believe that you will be an AEW World Champion. Max does not know that. Like he do not know everything that we've been through. Like we've been dragged through sugar honey. I just say the word because it was uncensored. Like we were dragged through this shit. Like he just does not know any of this. Is what he's like again, like not much of it with me. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, like he don't know Dustin Rhodes. He don't know Jeff. You are a 12-time world champion for a reason. Like you're the last outlaw. Like in Jeff, like outlaws never die, and neither do you. Like so let me tell you this right now. Like you are the very like of our kind here. Like for over 30 years, and this is where Jeff Jarrett took that as inspiration, like of what exactly is a longtime wrestling friend and rival, like still gave him with these multiple wise messages, I guess you could say. But this is where we finally saw the glamour, more likely the unglamour, hellish demon queen, I guess you could say, came out. It was Mariah May with the AEW Women's World Championship. And this is where we got Kristen Statlander, the self-proclaimed born-again Kristen, like that still needs some justice be served to her. But I think that's like for a different story, for a different day. I'm going to give her a pass on to this one. But that's where we got Jamie Hayter came out because these were the two women that have the advantage. Or I'm not sure if this is the advantage, but this is where the women got the start and the 1 and 2 spot. Well, Kristen got the number 1, while Jamie Hayter got the 2nd spot. As we start grappling it out, and I gotta admit, like I'll say, this alone one-on-one was very very impressive. But this is where we got Jamie Hayter going for a headlock. This is where we got Jamie Hayter go for the left corner side, then go to the right side. This is where Jamie Hayter go for a shoulder tackle. But impressively, I got to give credit when credit's due for Kristen for still standing. This is where she tried to go for the left corner side. This is where she was still standing even with the shoulder. But this is where Kristen hit a shoulder tackle into her. This is where she showed her gun, saying like she got much more bigger muscles. Like with all due respect to Jamie, this is where we got. But that's where we got what's her name? I know Jamie Hayter tried to go for a clothesline. I believe it was like what's that called? The Hater rack, I believe that's what's called. But this is where we got. But this is where then they start going for a clothesline right to each other. But this is where Kristen tried to go for a clothesline. But this is where she gets booted right into her arm and into her face right afterwards. That knocked down the former TBS champion. This is where we got the former AEW Women's Champion stomping on the Kristen right into the left side. And then this is where then we got Mariah May in commentary was saying some nonsensical, I'll say, statements about why did she move to America. Like, but they're saying like yeah, I understand why I moved to America for this. I was like, yeah, why did you? Like, if you did not have anything positive for coming here into this country. But this is where then we got I guess you could say somewhat of a return of Megan Bain, like from the early years of AEW, from back in 2020, 2021, which she's been for the last couple of years in the all women's Japan company, and that is Stardom. And this is where that she made her, I guess you could say, somewhat of a shocking return in AEW, like with her like going face to face with Kristen that was in the ring, but they're just ramming her right into the bottom left side, which as much as I would love the upper left side, yeah, this where then she threw it right to the bottom right side. This where then Mariah May's like, what she ate for breakfast? Rabies? Like, I was like, how's that a breakfast item? Like I don't know. Like, you gotta ask the Glamour that question because she just continues to not making sense, just like her Mr. McGinnis. Her number one supporter, I guess you could say. But this is where we got. This is where we got. What's her name? Megan Bain and brought down Kristen with a shoulder tackle, try to go for a superplex. But this is where they start fighting each other for super. But this is where she is a big falcon arrow right out of nowhere. This is where we got Kristen. This is where she would have probably gotten away with it and ended the match sooner if it wasn't for that middling girl that some females in the locker room hates her, I guess you could say. Something that my boy Simon Miller would say, give props to him on that. And this is where we got Jamie Hayter start hitting some chops right into the chest of what's her name to Megan Bain. It sounds very odd, like if it was out of context. But this is where we got Jamie Hayter run right into the bottom corner side. This is where Megan Bain tried to go for a suplex, but ended up getting DDT by the former AEW Women's Champion. This is where we got Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter's arch rival of the year of 2025, which is none other than the other former TBS champion, Julia Hart, that just came out as number 4. This is where they start fighting each other like if it's kind of a hockey fight. This is where then we got Jamie Hayter to hit a very devastating suplex that I've ever seen in a women's match in AEW, and right into the ramp. This is where then we got Jamie Hayter. Then start. This is where then she started heading back in the ring with Julia Hart by throwing her right into the ring. This is where we got what's her name? This is where we got what's her name? Jamie, not Jamie. What I'm talking about? Kristen Sanders then start continuing her fight with Megan Bain in the ringside area. This is where we saw what's her name? Julia Hart was in the ring with Jamie Hayter, and Julia probably might have gotten away with a win if it wasn't for that meddling Kristen that loves instigating and things, which don't remind me of. But don't worry, like I'm about to put water under the bridge for her power bombing me. I just need that fourth of a percent of justice that she needs to get, which is the power bomb right through a table, I guess you could say. But that's a different story for a different day, I guess you could say. But it's where we got That's where we got Kristen and Megan to continue I mean, that's where they continue back in the ring, like to return. They return to the ring to try to put their brawn to rest until Willow the Pillow came out as number 5. This where she started some forearm strikes right into the face. Is where Mariah May's like, oh no, like not this girl. This was like, oh yes, like hopefully she'll be the one to dethrone her, if not the other one that's going to be competing tonight, which I'm not going to get into until the end of the matches, where we got Jamie Hayter continue to do her rivalry fight with Julia Hart right to the bottom corner, where Jamie Hayter. I mean, she is Jamie Hayter with Megan Bain and Kristen Statlander was just fighting that. But that's where we got. Speaking of Kristen Statlander and Megan, this is where we got both the former best friends start hitting some double suplexes, where they start going for a slap chop war, like right in their shoulders and chests, is where they're seeing who was going to be getting the redness. This is where the worst city was chanting like whoa, like if the Nature Boy was there, which it does make you have some Flair vibes if you get hit with one of those chops. But this is where we got Willow the Pillow hit the pounce right onto Kristen. But this is where we found out that the number 6 person in the gauntlet match was none other than Timeless Tony. No, not Timeless. Tony Storm, that thinks that she's a rookie in AEW. That's the hottest free agent in AEW, like in the start of 2025, if I'm mistaken. That's where she just started hitting shoulder tackles and snapmares to everybody, like just trying to make a name for herself and trying to become her first title reign as AEW champion. No, like in her eyes, that's what she thinks that is. Like, but we all know that she already became AEW Women's Champion, like back in like 2000. Like back in 2023, but we're probably not going to say that right in front of her because we don't want to confuse the poor soul. But that's where we got Megan Bain grab on and finally stop the runaway beat up train of Tony Storm out of the ring by picking her up and shoulder tackle, picking her up, hitting her close body right onto Kristen. This is where Willow the Pillow hit a shoulder tackle onto Megan Bain while Jamie Hayter hit the boot right on the Willow the Pillow, but Julia Hart hits a clothesline onto her. This is where Willow the Pillow clotheslines her. This is where we got the other former TBS champion hit a crossbody onto what's her name to Megan Bain. This is where she the forearm strikes right into the face onto the Stardom star. This is where we got Bain and hit a right forearm strike right into her until we got Statlander going for the cannonballs right onto both the Pillow and the Stardom powerhouse. Why I say powder? But anyway, this is where we got Tony Storm hitting a hip attack right onto Kristen Statlander. This is where Julia Hart then hits a boot right onto the Jamie Hayter. That's where we got but it was. That's where the fists start flying. This is where they start fighting in the ring, like with them fists were flying everywhere. But that's where we got number 7 coming out, and there's none other than Harley Cameron. Like, we're still gonna feel the wrath, which I gotta admit they really was feeling the wrath. Like when Harley Cameron bring her a fight, and yeah, I'll say to be honest, like she's starting to grow on me. Like her being a very talented wrestler. Which like my boy Simon said earlier, like she may not be the Kenny Omega in the women's division, but she don't have to be in order to be recognized as a future top star in the business. But that's where we got. But eventually, we got Jamie Hayter hit a German suplex on the Wrath Maker. This is where we got Julia Hart. This is where we got what's her name, Julia Hart, elbow strike. This is where Jamie Hayter hits the what's they called the Hayter raid. That's what I believe that's the name. This is where we got the surprise roll of the most devastating of the devastation, I should say. Like with Harley Cameron going for it, but this is where she ends up getting. This is where we got what's her name, Harley Cameron, and hit the arm drag, and then follow that up with Insecurity. Step up Insecurity. Then this is when she got her on her knees. This is where she said, like, feel the wrath. This is where Mariah May's like, yeah, I did feel her wrath. This is where we got It's where then Jamie Hayter tried to go for the hate breaker, but it's where we got it's where Hayter they try to go for the hater ray, but it's where we got but it's where the Harley Cameron ducks out of the way, but it's where she ends up getting blinded by Julia Hart. This is where then she then pushed Harley right onto Jamie after she missed the eyes right onto Harley Cameron. This is where she's like, my eyes, like I cannot see anything. This is where she gets hit with a roundhouse kick, like if she's her former teammate. I'm not sure if I should mention him by name because it looks like he's about to make an exit in this company, I should say. But it's where we got Tony Storm that came out of nowhere, hits an inside cradle on the Julia Hart, which I was shocked that she beat her in this way. It's where the not Jamie, what I'm talking about. I mean, Tony Storm was shocked that she beaten Julia Hart in order to get a win, and that's where Harley came I'm gonna face this girl now. This is where Antonio Schiavone tried, and also Excalibur and Antonio Schiavone was trying to talk some sense into her. They're like, you realize that's the same Tony that you beat at Wembley Stadium. This was like, no, like that Tony is dead and long and gone with her butler at Wembley Stadium in my precious hometown of London. I was like, I don't know. First of all, that don't make any sense. But I guess, secondly, like in kayfabe, like that does because that Tony is no longer to be seen. But I guess now she's more of a fangirl facing this version of Tony because the Tony that she wanted to face ever since she got to AEW. So I guess that makes sense. But let me know down in the comments down below what's your opinion on to this matter. But let's move on to the next slide. But next up, we got the main event of the evening, which is the Powerhouse Hobbs versus Jon Moxley match for the AEW World Championship, which I just didn't understand what was the whole point of Powerhouse Hobbs even getting the shot tonight. Other than Jon Moxley being in his hometown of the horrible city of the United States, Cincinnati, Ohio, which is the hometown of Jon Moxley, and he needed an opponent, and he needed to make an appearance, so he could have a moment, even though he's the heel right now. But that's where he made it into the building, right through the back entrance, right towards the audience, and that's where they got the Death Riders coming surrounding the ring when the match started happening. But that's when Jon Moxley came in the ring. Finally, when that happened, that's where he started trying to hit every single tag move onto the Powerhouse. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs started hitting some exploder suplex on him, along with some elbow strikes right into the face, hit some punches left, right, and left, and etc. and up and all the above. This is where he tossed him and sent him right off his feet. This is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs that got out into the right side. Is where he tried to collect the current AEW World Champion that had the belt in the briefcase, which I understand why he has that. But this is where Powerhouse Hobbs are hitting some axe handles right to the back, right into right in the timekeeper table. And where we got Powerhouse Hobbs. That's where he started some strikes right back to Powerhouse Hobbs. That's where he started some elbow strike with Powerhouse Hobbs blocking it out, like with him getting hit right into the mouth, I guess you could say. This is where the Jon Moxley started going for the upper right side, trying to find a pretty cool trick, which I believe he was turning to Mike Tyson now because he started trying to bite him in the head. This is where he started hitting him with some right hands right till they hit him with the middle finger. This is where we got. This is where the fans are chanting. This is where they're cheering on Jon Moxley because he is the hometown hero. I'm like, yeah, of course he would, because he's been brainwashing him with that disgusting water. But anyway, this is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs, picks him right up. This is where he was about to hit him with a spine buster. But this is where he's like, I bet I need to slam him back first. And then even though I kind of sound like a bald a-hole, even though I genuinely do, this is where then I was like, yeah, get him. Like, prove the Cincinnati fools wrong. Like, that you're going to make a perfect example. This is where he started. This is where then he spotted the earring that Jon Moxley still had in his ear. This is where then That's where they take a page out of Moxley's playbook, but also start turning into Iron Mike Tyson and start biting that ear. This is where he started biting it. This is where then he ripped off the then he ripped off the earring out of his ear. This is where then he spit it out right in the ringside and bottom corner side. This is where he sent him driven him right to the floor after he did that. This is where fans start chanting, "You sick fuck," right? And that's the only time I'm going to be saying that, like when it comes to that chant. And I apologize for the bad language use. I'm going to say like what the fans say, even though maybe I shouldn't, because considering what city they were in tonight on AEW, luckily that some wrestlers in particular wasn't there, but yeah, that's a different video for a different day. But that's where Powerhouse Hobbs are beating them around in the ringside, including in the timekeepers areas side, the barricade in the bottom right side. That's where he brought him back in the ring. This is where the Powerhouse Hobbs, like, then they're trying to finish him up. But this is where John Mox tried to hit him with a paradigm shift. But this is where Powerhouse Hobbs somehow escaped it with all the strength that he had. They sent him right to the upper but at the upper or no bottom right side is where it clotheslined him. It's where he repeated clothesline. I'm not sure if it was taking a pay. I'm not sure if it was taking a dig at his former brother in the other company that he used to team with. Is the faction name starts with letter S. That looks like a thing that you use to cover to protect yourself from getting hit with fire or bullets, like if you're Captain America. But that's where we got. But I don't know what was the scenario was, but the only thing I know is that John Moxley was leaking red stuff out of his left side of his ear. This is where he tried to counter out of a spine buster, try to go for a paradigm shift. This is where he was double cursed again. Double cursed, I mean, not again, but he was double cursed right here. This is where he gets power slammed by Powerhouse Hobbs, like if he his own version of the world's strongest man himself. That's what Marina Shafir was like, no, like that's not gonna be happening. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs picks up Moxley, lifts him up to the bottom left side is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs trying to go for a fallaway slam. But this is where Moxley counters right off the top rope, hits him with an arm bar. I was like, how did he counter out that? That's very what's like scientifically impossible, like to say the very least. But that's where we got John Moxley got a cross arm breaker of what they call an arm bar. This is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs and try to flip him right over the try to pin him, but this is where he tried to grab on the relief of the rope break. This is where John Moxley started trying to go for a suplex. This is where the referee like, hey, like let him go, like you're already getting tarnished enough. This is where fans start chanting "Fight Forever" like they are playing the video game. This is where we got Willa Yuta came out of nowhere, hit the Psycho knee, but despite hitting the Psycho knee with the referee, like not seeing it. This is where the knee hit the knee, but this is where Powerhouse Hobbs somehow got back up once he got back in the ring. He hit the running double-A spine buster. This is where then Powerhouse Hobbs they took off the suspenders off of his onesie. This is where then he picks him up. He goes for like a reverse torch, like a reverse fireman's carry or a torture rack. But this is where like a backbreaker maneuver. But Moxley somehow, all the miracles, like if he do believe in it, like then he tried over a sleeper. But this is where he pushed him right to the left side. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs hang on to the rope. But this is where John Moxley purposely distracted the referee by hanging on to him. But this is where we got what's his name? Powerhouse Hobbs get hit whacked in the face by the same briefcase that Marina Shafir was carrying, with her whacking him right to the face with that holds the AEW World Championship and also contains that disgusting toxic water that they refueled in this disgusting, horrible, unforgiving city. Like this is where then she whacked him right to the face, right with the briefcase. Is where we got Moxley going for the surprise roll, which is the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. This is where he found the 3-week cover, third time the charm, like right in the middle of the ring. But this once he tried to use it, Powerhouse Hobbs still kicked out of the other maneuver. This is where he tried to go for the bulldog choke, the rear naked bulldog choke, right to a sleeper to put the knockout to cinch in the Powerhouse Hobbs so he could get the win. This is where. And still your All Elite Wrestling World Champion, John Moxley. But this is where we got But this is where we got the Death Riders came out. This is where it was their pack. It was Willa Yuta and others there. This is where they came in, swarming the lonely powerhouse Hobbs. This is where they picked. This is where they picked him up. This is where they try to. It's where they try to finish him off, like with the chair, like they try to the use on his leg. This is where Claudio then went for a jump and stomp on it as soon as he installed it behind his leg after the Death Riders hang on to him. This is where we got the rated FTR came out and try to scare off the Death Riders. This is where it worked, and this is where they're like, we'll see you this Saturday. Well, actually tomorrow in live coverage. But yeah, that's how AEW Dynamite ended the Maximum Carnage edition. And AEW, yeah, like I said, it was not like in its best, like when it comes to like making it like pay-per-view quality, but they still did a super terrific job, like making a show like must watch, like when the championship matches or the 6-man tag match or the women's gauntlet match or even the Kenny Omega return match. They perfectly successfully execute what they need to do. And even this feud with MJF against Jeff Jarrett is something intriguing to see as well. But let me know in the comment section right down below which one was your favorite moment of tonight's AEW Dynamite, which some might say this was, probably like not like really at its best, but still like it's something that like AEW still being recognized as successful at.